Hello, everyone at home. Haven't had the chance to do this intro for a little while now. It's been about a month and a half since we've done Dimensionauts, Progenitors. But welcome to the Hexagon tabletop role-playing games. I'm Brent, and I'm the DM for Progenitors. And I'm thrilled to have you join us for today's adventure. We're diving into another epic actual play, Progenitors, Bloodlines. So grab your dice, settle in, and let's roll. And when I say let's, it's because we have some, lovely little options. If you're here collecting hexabloons, you can affect the game. Please, if you are watching at home during the live stream, feel free to pop in and give someone a bane or a boon, because they deserve it, whichever one it is. Today we're going to be playing with our good friends, starting with Simon.
Hello, I'm playing Wilm Fair. Wilm is, he collects curios. If something catches his eye, he's not really sure how it works. Yeah, he picks it up and, keeps it around until he figures out the workings of it. So he hasn't had too much of a chance in the recent times as they've been in the forest. But
I was going to say, what curios have you collected here?
But that's it. So right now there hasn't been too much, but the little ebony bell that was given to him or by Hunson is probably the first in his collection as of yet. As he's curious as to how a little bell will be able to summon this entity.
Well, I would add that maybe you also have as part of that collection the unpowered Dimensionaut armor that you had brought with you.
I was never sure, exactly if he was able to keep that fully, or
I think we had said you have it.
So
in my head, you have a wooden mannequin, roughly set up with a helmet and a body. You will remember that it was kind of a miniature mech for a tiny little alien. So it's not necessarily actually armor, but
it was life size, I believe, but it was just inside this armor was a little alien.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a medium creature size, so
yeah.
You have something holding it up, and probably at this point Will has opened up whatever it is. You've seen that there's little blades, or there's that whip cord and stuff on it. So right now it is more of a curiosity.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I shall go next, as I am playing Otto, the collector of stories and of bugs. As we learned not too long ago, he does have a little bit of curiosity about ingesting bug-type creatures, not necessarily just bugs in this world. And I believe in the future, between scenes, and perhaps you'll see it on screen, he and some of his followers will get into the habit of ingesting some of these pests, potentially to get rid of them, as spiders do, but also not really for nutrition, but just simply out of the curiosity of the whole thing.
Yes, curiosity. No other reasons. My goodness.
All right. Well, I collect things too. Or rather, who I play, Tomas. This fun fact is also serving as a little bit of a refresher since it's been so long. A little recap. Tomas collects emotions, and he'll often call upon those emotions to help him in battle, or help him get away, or help him connect with others. So yeah, collects emotions.
When you say he collects them, what does that mean exactly? He just has a little library of feelings that he can refer back to?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Very interesting. And last but not least, we have...
I Hi. I am playing Quinn. And Quinn's fun fact of the day is after her terrible endeavor last session where she failed her leadership skills, she now forces the mentor every night to read out like an audiobook on leadership every single night, to which sadly QT does fall asleep quite fast too. And that means in the end it doesn't really, she's not advancing much in that area, even with the extra help. And that's
Incredible.
that.
Mentor's happy to do so, even if he ends up just being your sleep podcast.
Yep, 100%.
Amazing. Thank you for the fun facts, everyone. And if you're here, make sure to say hi in chat. And if you're new, hit that follow button to stay in the loop. You can also catch up on past episodes and more content over on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, all at TheHexagonTTRPG. Without further ado, I'd say let's get this game started. Boy, oh boy, I said it in the intro, but a month and a half real life time has gone by. That's a heck of a lot of life to live.
Crazy.
So I think going back, I'd like to hear from everybody, just, on camera, what was something important that you remember from the last session that you participated in? Just any detail, and then I'll try to contextualize it all in a little bit of a recap.
Otto physically ran away to not do that. No, he's back. Never mind.
Well, I can start by saying QT tried to have a great deal with the tree people, the spirit folk from the forest, and ended up maybe giving more more than she expected to give by holding an appreciation and respect for the queen.
Absolutely. So I'm bringing up some of the fae that you spoke to.
Yes.
We have the Lord of the Combat of the Wood. We have the Tree Valeth. We have Titania. All of them being very important characters that we've met.
On the flip side, Wilm is no longer in the forest. He traveled along with Otto to the coast, where they had heard a rumor of somebody having just sailed or somehow traversed to this island, this continent, and they went to go discover what the truth behind this rumor.
Yes, we have an old man who's come here in a sailboat for one, with some scant supplies and some dirty white robes, come to talk about something called the faith of the purifying flame.
I have it written here that they were called the Scorched Saints.
He did mention the Scorched Saints, yes.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't make that up.
You did not. And I mean, so I believe Otto and Willen are both there, and the both of you can ply this character for more information. I don't even remember if you had time to ask him his name.
You were about to offer him meat or something.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny gave him the conch. In my head canon, that's what he's holding in this photo, is the conch from Johnny.
Yeah, because Johnny found a gift.
Yes, CJ, it's been the longest for you, I think. Do you remember anything?
I remember this with the purifying flame. Obviously, I remember entering into that Spider Rider pact a bit earlier, and how that came to be in our community, that people started riding spiders and using the connecting zip lines.
Yes.
But I remember there being another. Was there a third choice that we had to make? Like there was going to see this guy in the boat, and then there was the Fae, possible allies. But I feel like there was something else.
We had to rid the forest of the voidling creatures
Okay, it was just
as well.
Yeah, that's something that still has to happen. So I'll gather all these threads right now, and basically do a last time on Dimensionauts Bloodlines. We came out of a kind of like fast time era to go into this slow time with a few choices before you. There was the quest to get rid of all of the voidlings that are in the forest that are infesting this area, and basically making it so that any fast time rolls that you would make would potentially be disadvantageous. And so we've moved into the slow time to, I think, have the party better able to handle these threats. At the same time, we had a traveler show up on the shores, and there was a want from Tomas to go see the Weavers, and potentially talk to them about something, maybe. I don't know if you actually revealed to me what you wanted to talk to the Weavers about, but there was the idea to go see them there. So the party split, and we had Quinn go talk to the Fae, to talk about the forest and what might be done about the Voidlings and alliances. We had Tomas staying with Quinn to then go talk to the Weavers afterwards, and Otto and Will going to confront a potential threat. The threat turned out to be an old man who was willing to talk and spread information about a new faith that has risen across the sea. Tomas and Quinn, meanwhile, after parleying with the Fae, came into a sort of agreement giving the Fae a level of authority and autonomy within the forest that they greatly what's the word? I mean, they liked it. They liked it a lot. They liked how the deal went for them, and so they greatly appreciate it. And at the same time, I will remind there. I had that sword, Excalibur, flashed up on the screen there. Quinn, you remember that this was belonging to Enoch. It was one of his many weapons that he had kind of like crafted. From the legends of Earth, and kind of like was one of the things that he had worked on in his personal projects. So there is still that to talk about with them in the future. So that brings us to now. I think Tomas, Quinn, the meeting with the Fae is over. The old man with the whiskers kind of like has faded and gone back. The fish one has gotten carried away by a few kind of like flies and butterflies and things. Just winged insects have come and carried him back over to his pond. Titania and Oberon, now they had turned into like medium size, like fully large, or larger than they were before, since they were teeny tiny. So just medium sized creatures, and paraded away into the forest with the other Fae, leaving the two of you alone with Meilin, to pursue what you need to do next. We had Wilm and Otto cross the continent, or the continent, your island, I should say, talking to Bart. And we'll bring up the map. We're here. Uh-oh. I thought I couldn't zoom in more. We are here.
Bart, you say?
And so I think that's where we'll pick up. Leaving Tomas and Quinn just for a moment, as I go back to Will and Otto here, the wind blowing, the sun setting. I think it's later in the day, and the man introduces himself, and he was cooking some vegetables, I think, with like some incense on the fire, so it smells good, and seasoning that. I'm Bart, by the way. It's a pleasure to meet the both of you. I should like to know your names, if I might.
Of course. Well, I'm Wilm. This is Johnny, and I'm going to point to Otto.
Otto. No, give him a little bow.
It's a pleasure. He goes about and checking the vegetables and turning them, and hope you're not too hungry, everyone. I only have so much here. I was hoping to get more from, this island.
Would you permit us the use of your fire?
Please, by all means. But if it is meat that you are cooking, I would just ask that you wait until the vegetables are done.
Oh, well, please go. Continue.
Yeah, and so he's roasting these veggies and stays a bit quiet for, and I think looks at all of you contemplating. You can see that he's evaluating a little just the very appearance that you have, this old man alone. And I think that it strikes you that, well, he's not that afraid. There's you're basically a group of strong looking people with spiders to back you up, these big, horse-sized spiders, these predators really. And he seems fairly at ease in his manner. And he seems to be, I think that you would be able to tell, putting a little bit of faith in you in this interaction. Is there anything that you guys want to say to him? He kind of stays quiet as he waits for the food to cook.
Yeah. I just want to ask him kind of plainly, what kind of man are you, Bart? With a tone that doesn't, I'm asking, but not in a friendly manner necessarily.
A little bit of a hostility there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm what I would describe as a normal man, I think. And he looks at his weathered hands. So I perhaps don't have much in the way of accessories or extravagance, but I make do. But I think normal for me might mean something else. I'm what is referred to on the other continent as just human. There are other mutations and other folk, so I'm human folk there.
Well, I think you do yourself a disservice by merely stating yourself as normal as is. I believe it would take quite a character to come here alone to discover a new, completely undiscovered by you island, nation. You had no idea what to expect, yet you came all the same.
Well, perhaps I can share with you a small secret, although it is not that much of a secret, really, and it deserves to not be forgotten. Then he goes into the boxes that he has, and he takes out, it looks like a carrying case made of like an oily sheen on some leather, and he unscrews the top of it, puts it down, and shakes out a rolled up piece of parchment. The parchment looks plasticky. It looks shiny. And as he unrolls it, you can see very clearly what is a well-preserved, well-kept, kind of plastic, plasticized map of the world. And as he shows it to you, you guys you're intimately, maybe not intimately familiar, but you definitely know, this is what the world used to look like. And as he shows it to you, he says, look, this is a representation of a globe. And that means that, and he points over to what you recognize as Europe, and he goes, we're in this region here, I believe. And now then he points over to, basically, he points to the Americas. He goes, I'm somewhere here along this coast, I think. But I figured that if you just keep going, I would be able to reach this other land and see what, how it has changed here and what has happened, because this definitely is not a good representation of across the sea anymore.
was expecting him to just like pull out a gun or something. Be like, I am brave
And
because
behind the map. Oh, God.
yeah. So this is a map of the old world.
Yeah, it's just a map of Earth.
You said it's a globe, though. I just want to make sure because our Earth is flat in the real world, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Stop.
Really kicks DJ out of this game.
I don't
And
think it's
he
normal.
said that he came from the Europe region,
Mhm.
and now he thinks he's somewhere by the Americas.
Yeah.
So you can ask, and you traveled alone across this great distance in that? And like point to like his one little sailboat, I guess, that he has like beached.
Yeah, I mean, you see it. I mean, you see his crates of food. Like, there's, if he has 3 crates, 2 are empty, and one is, there's like a little bit of food left at the bottom. He's basically serving you almost all of it. He's got like, 2 potatoes and an onion left. He says, "Yes, I prayed to the divine, to the purifying flame, and I treated this as a sort of pilgrimage, a cleansing, body, mind, spirit, and fasted, only ate what I absolutely had to, only drank what I could from the rain and from what I was able to distill into clean water.
A lot
Took
of faith.
many days. I've haven't spoken to anyone in a long time."
I don't doubt it. It's quite a distance to travel.
I'd like to
Yes.
try, while he's talking, to see through any deception that I might notice from the
is
very
this like
beginning of this conversation.
Is this like a magical see-through, or are you trying to like insight, like just like through wisdom and mannerism and physical response?
Yeah, the latter.
Okay, the latter. Do you have any assets that would help you in this? I believe this would be an intellect role of some sort.
Yes, I'm trained in seeing through deception.
Uh-oh. You're trained in it. Okay, perfect. Sorry, my computer just now decided to start sending notifications. I'm removing them.
I do have sense attitudes. I'm trained in sensing lies and whether a person is likely to believe my lies.
All right, so that would be 2 assets then. 2 skills that you're putting towards this.
Yeah, it's a type other enabler, no cost. So I guess I'll enable it. And I'll win.
Perfect. This, you look at him and you start to studying him as he's talking to Wilm. So Wilm, I think he busies himself in this moment, and he kind of just like, I suspect this is where we are exactly on this map, and he's trying to just kind of share, this is exactly where I came from, and it tells you a little bit about the voyage of like many, many days. I lost count, and storms, and turned around, and I saw something enormous at sea, and almost like a little bit of a tale of like.
Didn't even keep track like on his boat or something, like little scritches on the wood.
Yeah. And so as that's happening, Otto, you try to get this insight, and you immediately realize that this is challenging. He has so many old weathered lines on his face from being in the sun, and he has such a relaxed and calm disposition that you wonder, like, is there anything to glean here? So you are going to, even with your 2 bonuses, going to have to roll me a 9 or more.
No problem.
Could I potentially try and help him by making him start talking about something that like animates him, that kind of gets him out of his more calm demeanor?
I'll say that, yeah, you talking to him about these stories at sea.
And
Sure,
also
we can.
start talking about like the Church of the Purifying Flame This is something like I've never heard of before, right? Like, I don't think either of us have.
What is your question? Like, what do you say to him to try and get this?
So, be like, you put a lot of faith in this purifying flame. What is it that has allowed you to garner such absolute faith in such a thing?
And you get a really warm, kind smile in return, and you see his eyes light up as you talk about faith. So go ahead. Now you just have to roll a 6 or higher.
Nice. That is an 11.
On an 11, you beat it by 5. And so I will get back to the question in a second as he talks about the purifying flame, and he'll elaborate a little bit. On an 11, you're studying him, seeing this conversation, and then as he moves into this new question, you can see that the kindness that he's exuding seems to be genuine. He really does seem to, have a good intent or goodwill towards the group of you here. You, on succeeding by 5, know that he is ready. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's ready to attack, but he's perhaps ready to defend. He looks at ease and very relaxed, but it is a relaxedness that comes from potentially like years of experience, potentially like battle. And I think that as you see him motion with these weathered hands, that's like hidden among the wrinkles and the age, there are scars here and there. There's a strength that you see in this old man. And that's how he can be so relaxed.
He's a level 20 adventurer. We can't get on the bad side.
But you were looking for deceptions and stuff, and I think you
Yeah.
see like he seems to just be putting the information out there. He immediately shared like secret information with you, an old map from the old world. He seems to have goodwill.
It makes me like tense up a little, like not relaxed, because deception is like what I'm used to. I seek it out in others because I know it exists within me almost at all times. So to see it so apparently not here, I'm like, oh, okay. Why do you not have anything to hide in this moment? Is my internal question.
I think on that roll, succeeding by 5, like very good question, as you consider that. But Wilm you question him, but what is the purifying flame? And he smiles and his eyes light up and he looks at you. He says, in lighting, truth, in flame, cleansing, in ash, salvation. This is the core of our faith, or at least where I came from. There's an old story about survival and hardship and how the world came to be. And I won't bore you with the whole text and, the scripture, but truthfully, I think the science is that from great upheaval and the molten core of this place that we exist in came a new beginning that enriched the land with nutrients and allowed for new life and renewal. And so we worship that heat, that rebirth, that renewal, that nutrition, and that comes from different places. Some of it from knee gestures to the setting sun, the actual sun itself. Some of it from within us, and some of it from those around us, or from the planet that we are on. And as the sun starts to set a little bit more, and it gets a little bit darker here. And you can see that he's glowing a little bit. Just a faint, warm glow. And he just holds his hands out towards the fire. And you feel a little cold as the heat kind of moves in that direction. And the flames build a little bit higher, and they eat the wood a little bit faster. And it's just like he stoked the flame.
But we feel colder?
Just as like the heat just like kind of moved right there, and then it goes like back to normal. It's just like you could almost like feel the heat move
Escape
away
from the air, like the air around us into the flame.
Yeah.
Got it.
He says, I can speak much more about this if you'd like. I'd love to talk about it.
It's interesting. It's as if you have faith in the very energy of the universe around.
Yes, one might say the spark of life is part of the purifying flame. I think that faith allows us to put everything into perspective.
So that faith guided you here. Was there a reason for this pilgrimage? Were you escaping something?
Otto, you catch a little twitch. As Willen says specifically, are you escaping something? As you were clued in on him, looking at him, and he goes, not escaping, but I don't think that faith needs to be followed like a rule book. I think that freely given, freely taken, that it would benefit and enrich lives. And that is what I would like to give, is a way, a structured way to make lives better. I left a place where I think structure got in the way of making things better.
So, just because that seems a little contradictory, you came to offer us structure from a place where you thought that the structure in place was not the right one, and that yours is?
Not that it wasn't the right one. It was who and how it was implemented. I'm here only to give aid to those who wish it, those who need something to help them, as it helped me.
Well, can't speak for everyone on this in this place, but far be it from me from refusing a man his beliefs, as long as he does not attempt to force it upon others.
That was part of the reason I left. I would never do that.
Is it not in the very nature of fire to, once it's caught onto something, to burn and consume if it can?
But we are not fire. We only have faith in it.
So you do not offer the fire, you offer faith in the fire?
Yes. And that is a very important difference. At least to me.
Wisely spoken.
I was once known as the warm-hearted. But I think that perhaps I could be known as that again.
And what occurred that took away that moniker?
It was a title bestowed by the structure I mentioned. There is a church, and perhaps I've come with warning then as well, that should you meet some of the scorched saints of the purifying flame, that they might not be so warm-hearted as I.
A little more extreme, perhaps, than
And he
yourself?
looks at Otto, and he goes, as extreme as an all-consuming flame can be.
Are you alone in your belief that these scorched saints offer too much of a structure?
I think it would be presumptuous of me to speak on behalf of many people, but if ever I had inspired anyone, then perhaps I was not alone. But I am alone now. And he
And-
moves the vegetables kind of just out of the way. It says, if you wish to cook your meat, that you may.
Well, I think I'll pull out some mushrooms that we might have foraged and everything like that as well. I'll have put those on the fire while he was doing his veggies. Kind of like give him a bit more option than a potato and some onion.
Well, that's what he has left. Like he's sharing with you. Like he has like a turnip and carrot.
No, but that's it. Like, that's why I'm adding a little bit to that so that he can also not like give us all his food, but like to share with him like the stuff that we might have foraged a bit.
Do you think you guys would have like salt with you?
I think it might have been just things that we picked up day to day because I don't think we've like physically said like, yeah, we have salt ever. So this is kind of like stuff we've foraged throughout the days, like as we've been like every day kind of just like grabbing things as we pass them.
Yeah. So you put your stuff on the fire, and he like looks at you and says, "Oh, would you like some seasonings here?" And he pulls out an almost empty like little jar that he has, and it's like a mixture of salt and some herbs and things.
While it's appreciated, the offer, keep what you have for yourself.
No, please, I would love to share.
You've shared more than enough for now. There are others that you can share with. If
And Johnny's like, yeah, like me. And then just puts the skewer out. He chuckles and sprinkles a little bit, fine little bit on Johnny. He's like, oh, guys, this is way better than nothing. We haven't had salt in so long.
Does he know what salt is?
Johnny, yeah.
Okay. Because like that, I also have a bit of a difficulty like being like, okay, like these people, they've been transported with us this throughout the time skip, or have they been just like created after the fact? Like, so like they've lost their memories and everything, so like they remember certain things but not others.
These are good things to question. I think the impression you've gotten is that they remember having lives. They just don't remember individual memories of living those lives. In many ways, it's like how an amnesiac could not remember who they are, but be able to speak the English language.
Okay. So like he remembers what seasonings and like things like the food that we've been having. Everyone has known like they've been missing something.
Well, they
In a
know the
sense.
definition of salt and seasoning. It's like, but do they remember specifically eating a delicious meal? And it's like, well, maybe not, but they know what delicious means, and definitely they know what plain means.
So I'm wondering like how much of a reaction Johnny has to this. Like, is it like a oh my god, like a sudden like reaction to this?
He's drooling. He's eating vegetables that you're just like some grilled vegetables, like a piece of carrot, a piece of mushroom, a piece of potato, and there's like literally like liquid coming out of his mouth.
Okay, so I'm like, so he's basically like showing our hand the fact that like we don't have any seasoning.
Yeah, maybe this is a guy notice. Yeah, he looks at Johnny and goes, "Oh, well, I'm glad I could provide something that perhaps was lacking." And Johnny's like, "Oh yeah, we're still trying out all these different herbs and stuff, and it's like some of them are good and some of them are not good."
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like tap Johnny on the back a little bit, and like slowly like kind of squeeze his shoulders a tad.
Stop eating for a moment and like eat slower.
And just say, watch eating, speaking with your mouth full. It's not polite in company.
Mm-hmm. Chews with his mouth closed now.
I like I tap him on like the back, not to be like, be careful, but like be careful. Just don't give away too. Trying to convey that anyways in my tap and little shoulder squeeze.
You've conveyed. I mean, Johnny is like stops talking a little bit, just kind of like just like giving the impression that it's still tasty.
Mm-hmm.
So Bart's here. The fire's warm. The food is all right. The both of you have refused any seasonings on your bit. There are other pieces of vegetables here that are seasoned if you want to bite into them. Is there anything else that you want to do with the fire here?
I mean, I'll cook some meat as well. Now that like it's free of the vegetables and not gonna or rather contaminate his stuff.
Absolutely. So you start to cook some meat, and he doesn't like shy away from it or anything. He just basically it's like whatever ritual he did when you first arrived, where he had like sprinkled that little bit of like incense or something in the fire. Like that had prepared the fire for cooking the vegetables, and I think that you guys assume like there's some other ritual or something that he would do for cooking meat that maybe he doesn't have the proper ingredients for, or he doesn't have the tools here to do.
Okay. I will make a show of him like as I'm putting it towards the flame, like to look at him and get like some sort of physical nod or something, like an okay from him.
Yeah,
Doing so, but like,
of course he gestures towards the fire and says, "Oh, of course."
yeah.
Then yeah, so you guys sit here cooking a while, eating. I think the spiders at some point like go out to get their own meals, make sure that they have what they need. You had a few other party members with you. I think that there was at least 2 more avian people, and I think one of Otto's people as well. Am I remembering correctly?
So
That sounds right.
Yeah, if not Otto's person, then it was like Tomas's person. Oh, I think it was Otto and Tomas's person. It was 2 of your people, Wilm, 2 Phoenicians, an Ottoman, and a wait, I have notes.
Decafout.
Decafout. Sorry, I was thinking Ecaflip. We were talking about Black Booth.
Yeah.
It's a Decafout.
Didn't I send a guy?
I don't remember.
I believe so. I think we needed the muscle.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, it's kind of like
I don't know if you potentially sent him, but like we kind of maybe took one of them.
requisitioned. Yeah. So, but you're all here. It's getting dark. He says, "Oh, please, if you'd like to share this, warm campsite, and perhaps if we could share the watch and therefore sleep a bit longer, and I mean, I keep the fire lit, then I'd be, if you permit this, I'd love to perhaps visit where you've come from. Not necessarily to stay or anything like that. My presence is unwanted, but at least to see."
I'm gonna look towards Otto just to kind of get a sort of idea from him what he's thinking.
Does your face convey like, what do you think? Like, I don't know, or is it kind of
Like
just
for
like,
me,
well,
it's his. He's kind of just like looking at him like. For him, he's like, look, if he's right now, he seems to be giving out a good vibe. He doesn't seem to be forcing anything on anyone. So he's like, look, if he wants to come along, are we gonna physically stop him at this coast and be like, no, go back? Or
yeah, I give you the same kind of look back, like not like, yeah, let's bring him, but it's like, all right, that is
So he sees like a look pass between you, and he looks just from one to the other, and goes, if it would make you feel more comfortable, then you could always bind me or take me prisoner, or not allow me to enter. But I would be willing, if you have more questions about the Church of the Purifying Flame, I could answer them for you, a little bit about their organization, and perhaps that would prepare you in some way if they were ever to arrive.
in due time. But we are by a fire now, and I believe it is custom to share stories around a fire. Allow me to put you with one. And I will, in my auto way, twist the story of the alien guy who came to us from a place unknown, and how he met a pretty horrifying yet beautiful fate. But I'm not going to say it verbatim. I'll, change the names, change the scenario, but give the same effect as telling him of like kind of the last time we met somebody who came from somewhere unknown, and what happened to them, in a way that's not fully this is what's going to happen to you, but it's a story that exists in my mind.
we
I
burned
know how
the
it
hatch.
ends.
Are you trying to threaten him at all? Are you trying to like what is the intent, I think, behind your story?
Caution.
Yeah, to like a warning, like that's the moral of the story, maybe, is like a warning to people who seek to uh, come somewhere
Okay.
unknown and try and
Take
change
over.
things there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. Let me know if you have anything to add in terms of skills or in terms of just other
Coming up with creating a narrative is something that I've used many times before. I don't know if you'll let this. I'm a skilled writer. I'm trained in writing, but it doesn't say if that's like just the physical, like I can do calligraphy really well.
I
Or
would say narrative, but you are improvising this, so I won't
Okay,
let you.
okay, that's
If
fair.
you tell me in game that you take some time to put stories down, pen to paper of your memories,
Okay.
and then I will let you use this in the future.
Beautiful. So that'll be it then.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll. I think no set DC here. I'm looking for just how good it is.
17.
17 bumped up by 3 up to a dirty 20, I would say. So you tell this story, and you can see that he's listening, but you think that the message got across of like, in the way that you saw that he was relaxed because he is strong. I think that he can see between or read between the lines and know the strength that you brought to bear, right, to be able to turn away a threat that came in. So the warning is received.
While he's telling the story, can I like whisper to Johnny real
Yeah,
quick?
absolutely.
Just want to tell him like, don't use any like fire magic at the moment.
Oh, do you want me to tell the others as well?
You can pass the word. Right
Sounds
now,
good.
we don't want to show our hand too much.
He gets up and he kind of pauses and leans back down. He says, I think you could also just ask him about his magic.
I plan to, but until he reveals a bit more of his, I'd rather keep our cards close to the chest as well.
Makes sense. All right. And he gets up and he goes just over to and you can see he spreads it among the Decafout and the Ottomans as well, just like a keep your magics in check until we know. All right. So that's it. So I think we go more towards the evening and spending, just a long rest here. Just the sound of the lapping waves. I know the picture that I have up on the screen looks like you're right by the shore. Obviously, you're not going to sleep where the tide will come in. So you guys go a little bit more protected from the water and the wind. And yeah, do you set it up so that, like, what are the watches here? Because I think we would only need like 3 or 4. Is it just that all of your minions would have a watch? Do either of you want to take any watches?
If he takes a watch, I'd like to be on the watch with him.
Yeah, I think he leaves it up to all of you, like when as the evening is winding down and people are about to go to bed and the subject of watch comes up, he's just looking to your group as to how this should be done or what should happen.
I'd usually take the sunrise ones because William likes to watch the sunrise, but he'd leave the others to the other individuals.
Okay. But so you can definitely grab the sunrise one. He doesn't really chime in. Like he's happy to let other people go on watch. And you can see like he sleeps fairly close to the fire. And yeah, just no blanket or anything like that. Just him under the stars. You can see he grabs some tufts of grass and stuff to lay down, and he slowly kind of just lies there with everyone else.
Very good. All right.
Alrighty. We drift away from that scene as everyone goes to bed, and we get back over to Tomas and Quinn. The two of you have made your way out of the clearing where the Fae were with Mei Lin, maybe towards that like central watering hole area. Quinn just taking a ladle and having some of the clear water. This is maybe, we're backtracking in time a little bit earlier in the day. The sun is setting now. It's kind of, we're afternoon passing over to evening. May, looks over at you, Tomas, just says, so you wanted to go see the Weavers? Tuna.
You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Tuna.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good. Okay. Yeah. So Tomas kind of like looks down at his hands, and I think he had like kind of cut himself at some point trying to ride on top of. Oh dear! Wait, I have it written down here someplace. My great Sprider friend, my best friend that I almost gave away.
Fucker.
Almost.
Almost. Zelkarith. I believe, yeah. Or once he gets Zelkarith, yes. So, yeah, Tomas wants to go see the Weavers because I believe it was mentioned that they can help make like protective gear, and maybe not just for himself, but maybe for the rest of the tribes too, in case of potential combat in the future.
Yeah. So what do you say to May?
Yeah.
All that.
Spends the whole time looking at his hands.
You look at your hands, you say yes, and May goes, "Sure. I think we still have time today, right? Right, Quinn?"
I don't see why not. I don't have anything planned after what just happened. Um, yeah, let's go check, and that way we can also take note of maybe what the weavers will need as items. That makes sense, or ingredients.
Well, I know they've been working with the underseers, and so she starts to lead you guys into the forest, and I think right away the both of you clock. She knows exactly where she's going.
Oh, interesting.
So she just starts to lead the way, and she can see that she's like gesturing. She says, "So they've been working with the underseers, and basically we've been looking at ways to improve clothing production right now. There's not really so much material available, and the Ottomans, they don't have infinite spider silk, so there's only so much we can produce per day, and then somebody actually has to potentially weave that into whatever we need it to be, whether it be a tarp or whether it be a blanket or a pillow or even toys. And you can see I think the both of you intuit talking about toys, yeah, there's gonna be new life, families starting as time goes on, and potentially there would be children, maybe not so many right now, but it's something that people are thinking about and already trying to find a solution for in some ways. May though specifically says some of the Fae are very playful in nature, and so they've asked for silly little things or instruments in that, and if we need cord, we don't really have another good way of making it. She makes her way to one of the zip lines. She goes, "All right, we take this one straight down. You guys ready?"
I am ready.
I'm ready.
All right,
As
perfect.
they look proudly at May being such an impressive diplomat and guide.
Yeah, I mean, she looks very in her element of I've been planning stuff and I've been
Mm.
keeping the tabs like you asked me to.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so she holds two hands and whisks down the zip line.
Does that woman from
Canon for the zip lines, everybody, is they're a little bit magical and there's a little bit of energy that can move you along.
does that woman from Tomas's tribe just show up and start carrying
All
him
of
around?
it.
What is her name? Hilga?
Wilga.
Wilga!
Oh no, Wilga's not on this
Just
one.
appears wherever we are.
It's okay. I will take her place this time.
Incredible. So yeah, Tomas, you get on, you scoop up Quinn, and you guys jet down the line.
I could have done myself!
Mentors, they're kind of peeking out, and all of you arrive at a darker, more shrouded part of the wood, and you flying in, the trees get a little bit closer together, the branches overhead knit, it's a little quieter in this part, and you can see that they've actually, as you arrive into this glade, set up some small, very rudimentary kind of work tables, and there are pieces of crystal that have been broken and chipped into different kinds of rudimentary tools of blades and things like that, to be able to cut the threads. You see that there is a very basic looks almost like a comb, like a big comb, and that it's a kind of a loom essentially, where you would separate the strands and then weave them together. And there's all these little devices here. You see that some crystals have been set into the top of the tree to focus a sunbeam that would fall there onto a work table. And there are a few of Ottoman's people here wearing what look like some much nicer clothes than everybody else. They're a little bit more intricate. They have like little designs on them. You can see that even some of them have been dyed a color instead of just the white. And they are hard at work here. You see meticulously, putting some things together. There are 4 of them that are making rope. It's just like just feet and feet, like tens of feet of rope. And it has to, like, they weave all the individual strands and then weave all of those together. And then you see, like, as the rope gets put aside and it's all tied and made sure, then one of them is there and testing it and inspecting everything. And like, they've kind of set up this small community here. All of you can see about 8 people to work on just, this craftsmanship. And I think it strikes you, Quinn, in particular, that the tools they're using, again, are rudimentary. And as you come into this glade and you see what's going on here, and May directs you over to basically like the one who has the most ornate clothing, and like it's like dyed seemingly black, and they seem to be the person in charge of the weavers. There's like, you have the know-how to make more tools. You just need resources, you need time, and then you need to build it. You need facilities, you need smelting, right? You need all of these things to get to a place where the know-how of these people would be put to more efficient use. And I think it's just very obvious to Quinn.
Is it only Otto's people that are part of this group, or are there others from the different tribes that are there as well? Because like you were saying how like everyone has like some backgrounds they've kind of been like remembering, but is this a skill set that only seems to be apparent in the pasts of Otto's people, or?
So, I don't know, like, if you've spoken to your people, you would know that there are, like, in your group, there are people, I think all of you have spoken to your people enough that you would know that there are people in each of your groups who are craftspeople. So there are some that are like weavers that were just like, they have the know-how to like make baskets, to be able to sew and like make clothing and stuff, they have like those home craft kind of skills. This group of weavers, they're known now as the Weavers, and it seems like Otto's people are in charge of it. Whether that means like other people can come in or apply or do whatever, like right now it's kind of left up to them, to their discretion. I think as Quinn and Tomas and May come in here, you don't see anyone from the other tribes here.
Okay.
But yeah, May leads you up and she says, this is the head weaver. This is Elathir Synthano.
Okay, well, nice to meet you, Elathir. Well, meet. We probably met before, right?
Elathir looks at you and says, no, we've not had the chance to interact. It is a pleasure to see both of you here, heads of the different sects.
Hello.
I do have to say I admire the fashion. Incredible work, I see. And
Thank
I know
you.
you can probably make even more of it if you had the right tools, as I look around.
Sorry, not to put you on the spot, CJ. What
Put me in the pot.
put you in the pot? Not to put you in the pot, but here you go. What would you have asked the Ottomans to call you?
Ooh.
I do believe at this point in time, what's the word? Because there's a great spider that's above me, and then there's me who speaks for him. What's that word? Not acolyte at all, but like that's what's coming to my mind.
Avatar.
Avatar, yes. I can't have them call me the Avatar.
You are the avatar of a god.
They could call you Avatar Otto. If you're the voice of the spider, you could be like the Vox Arachne. Like
Mr. Webb instead of Madame Webb.
Yeah, you could be Mr. Webb.
Sounds so cool.
Mr. Webb.
Okay, I'll take Vox Arachne if you freaking hand that out. But then maybe some of the other people call me whatever you just said, Mr. Spider.
Dude.
If you'd like to come up with something good, I think like the what's not acolyte. I know what you're saying though, like and not quite
Yeah.
priest, but someone who's like a little higher up and but not Catholic coded. Okay, I will use Lord Otto in this moment, or Sir Otto, perhaps, is the
Oh,
what
no.
this like posh one would do.
No,
but
actually,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll let
Like
you
a
come up with
prophet?
something.
Or like
Oh, yes. I like that. The prophet.
Which one?
The prophet Otto. Any prophet or prophet? The prophet Otto.
They're just gonna call you the prophet then. There's only one
Thank you,
prophet.
Simon.
Of course, it's Otto. So yeah, so in this moment they say, "Oh, did the prophet send you?"
No, actually, we came on our own accord. The prophet is still out on a mission.
Well, I think you guys look at each other and you go, "The
Yeah.
prophet," and then maybe
You
it
know
clicks
who's
kind
Yeah,
of that
Quinn,
it's
like-
Otto.
Who are you?
Oh, I thought we were used to it, so that's why I just went straight for it. Like, yeah, the prophet.
I've never heard this before.
It's just what Otto likes to call himself.
Oh, Otto.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, but yes, we can say that he sent us.
Oh, did he?
I mean, Elithir is right in front of you and just looks from one to the other and says, "Well, it's not that we have to expect you or there's an appointment or anything. It's just that the Vox Arachne can advance orders, I think, have priority for some. Especially, we've determined that our garments and their colors and their fashion, their detail may matter in terms of station and communicating with each other, particularly non-verbally."
Oh, that's why I admire the fashion. And I wish all of the people could have such intricate designs. But in order to do that, you need more resources.
Yes, we would very much like that. And Elithir actually looks down to May and says, "May here, Maylin has been helping us in terms of gathering some of those resources and planning that. The Phoenicians have been especially good in some cases at being able to scout out where we might find resources."
That makes me proud. Well, would there be anything else that you would need help with?
I have a long list. And yeah, May just looks at you and she says, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later. There's, I think, multiple requests that we might want to go over.
Good. I would like to help with that.
Elfia looks at you a little surprised, says, "Oh, of course. I thought the Decafouts were busy just hunting and gathering. I know that we are on a tight supply of food as well, food and water in some cases."
Well, we can hunt and gather with you in mind as well.
It would be much appreciated. But please tell me, for the heads of tribes, we would love to. Is something that we should create to? And you can see Elithir is already kind of drifting off in language a little bit as they eye the both of you, and you can see them mentally doing calculations and measurements and what potentially they would be able to fit on you.
I guess anything productive against the voidlings that we might have to be. Or maybe, what's the season? Is there gonna be like right now it's warm, but will there be winter in the future and we might need to be prepped for that?
Yes, protection from both the voidlings and the elements.
So as a reminder, you guys know the Valeths magic. Valeth, the memory tree, the heart of this forest, has an aura that prevents the changing of seasons within this great forest. Basically, the magic has redistributed the elements in this forest so that there are certain places that are like the autumnal part of the forest and like the tundric, like cold part of the forest. So it's compartmentalized it so that everything can be comfortable all the time, and the what's the word I'm looking for? The like expression of seasons can then be funneled into a specific place. And so because not many like winter in a forest, right? Like it's kind of like the down, not growing time. It's like that's a very small part of the forest, but it's really freaking cold there. Whereas like the autumnal part is like a little bit bigger, and like the spring and summer parts too.
Okay, that also means we have a variety of like more varied resources than I expected, which is good. But yeah, protection.
Yeah. So protection from the elements. Well, we haven't really been able to test it so much, but we've tried to make more durable garments that might survive certain powers. And you can see Elithir brings you over, and they have like not like it looks like an unfinished kind of like piece that's been like sewed a little bit and worked on. It's a little frayed. They hold it up, and you can see that there's scorch marks on it. But as they run their hands and they like touch the fabric, the soot just kind of comes off, and you can see that it's mostly undamaged. We've been working with the Phoenicians. They have a need for non-flammable clothing, actually. So we've been trying to. There's 2 instances of unfortunate accidental nudity. Not that it seemed to be a big issue, but definitely surprising for some people. So is there a specific element you need to get it? For the voidlings, we have the rope. The underseers have been looking at potentially hooks and those kinds of things.
Sure.
Thank you.
Perhaps less the elements to worry about and more just, yes, the monsters. Something durable that will not be broken easily. I understand that your webs may not be the most ideal material.
I did drink. Sorry.
Which is why I would be willing to gather resources that might be paired with your webs to create something stronger, sturdier.
All right. Well, and Elithir gets this little mischievous look in their eye. There is a rumor of a drake living towards the north in the colder part of the forest around that thereabouts. Scales would make a very enduring armor. Scales that we could tie together or create some sort of overlapping armor or gauntlet or of the sort. That could be very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Does that sound like our only way to advance at the moment, our only possibilities?
Doable. I can gather a squad. And you said they were in the colder part of the forest.
That's where they've been sighted. We've spoken to the Fae, and landrakes are more than they're not sentient species. They're a sort of large lizard that basically they have dens where they seem to hibernate, and then they come out and are extremely hungry. They're kind of a nuisance, but there's one that seems to be active now. So you might be able to catch it during its feeding season before it hides away and isn't seen for however many years. I'm sure a den would be hard to find after a long time.
Of course. Then I will begin a search. Thank you. But is there anything else?
Not that I can think of particularly. If we've mentioned tools, resources. I just kind of like looks off. Love to have my own house and live alone. Just wishes from a weaver. Either of you can roll me a bit of an insight if you wish.
Insight. Okay, I'll roll. Let's see.
It's 10.
I got a 5.
10 and a 5 on the intellect roll. I think that on a 5, Quinn, you're like, ooh, guess we better hurry up. On a 10, Tomas, I think you get the sense of like you're partly in charge of getting this done. And I think now more than ever, it's on your radar.
Understood.
All right.
In due time.
And with that, if there's not anything else to be talking to Elithir, I think we'll go ahead with our mid-session break. And when we return, we will go back to Otto and Wilm to waking up with the sun and the sound of crashing waves. Thank you, and until next time.